So how do you feel about doing this? Can you talk a little bit how you feel about doing this?
There are insecurities I have from my past because, well, back in like high school, I was like severely sick, like eating disorders, sick, and I like tortured myself to be these like airbrush bitches. And like, I just grew up at a small enough island where we didn't get that Photoshopped happened. And, being teased for my looks, it kind of started with whenever my dad went to prison, like he is a class act. He robbed a bunch of banks. I grew up on this like waspy island. So when that happened, basically you as the child get judged for these things your parents did. So all of a sudden, all the kids in the playground didn't want to be my friend anymore because all their parents didn't like or understand or couldn't wrap their head around this perfect little island getting shaken up by something so bad. So then like I was literally sitting in the playground alone with no friends, getting picked on all the time from like elementary school to basically sophomore year of high school. And then when my mom came out as a lesbian, then I was like, oh, fuck me. Like, really? And then, so then they tease me, are you gay? Are you gay? So then I didn't even know what gay was because I'd never seen it. And then I saw it with my mom. And then all these kids are teasing me for it. So I'm like, oh, this is bad. And so all these things are like cycling into my head. And all I want to do, be normal to balance out all the craziness that my parents are. And so I would just kill myself to fit in. And if you didn't like something, I didn't like it either. And then cruelly, these kids would go, I didn't like this. And I'd be like, me neither. And they would be like, oh, just kidding, I do. And I'd be like, oh, just kidding, I do too. And all I wanted was a friend. And I didn't, like, I never, oh, this is going to get me upset.
It's okay. Can you
Yeah.
go? I cried through my whole entire one. Can you just take your scarf off? Go ahead.
And I just wanted so badly to just have someone love me.
You weren't getting that from your parents?
I wasn't. When he went to prison, my dad became the black sheep of the family, and then his side of the family supported us and put her in college because she's like, I'm not going to raise these two kids without money. I'll work my ass off. And I do respect her for that, but at the same time, she was gone. I was raised by nannies, so I had no parents. I basically raised my brother by myself because my dad left when I was like 6, and he's still in prison. He's in like, Lompoc High Security. It's like Rikers Island of California. He's a sociopath, pathological liar. So not only is he lying, it's also everyone else's fault. So he's never even believed the things he's done to me. Like, I watched him beat the shit out of my mom. He did the same to me. He didn't touch my brother, thank God, I protected him. There was this point in the kitchen, I remember this one really clearly. This was after the divorce. I remember going in and like, can I have a Sprite? And he was still sleeping. And he's like, yeah, he just like rolled over, you can have it. And I'm like, okay. Go into the fridge and I have it. And I'm like making breakfast for Thomas and I. And he like rolls out of bed, and I could tell he was like still fucked up. And he like comes up and he like grabs me by the throat and slams me against the wall. And he's like, I fucking told you can't have Sprite in the morning. Like, this kind of shit to me. Never was a kid. Like, between like the teasing and growing up and like everything, like I never, like I love her to death, and she apologizes to say, she's like, I'm sorry, you never got to be a child. Like, I'm sorry. Because I mean, I can imagine like how hard that'd be to look at your kid and be like, and now that she knows everything. And I used to like blame her, and I feel bad for that. Like, I used to be so angry at her. Oh, so much better.
What were you in rehab for?
I like really tried to be perfect for her for the longest time, and I was like, that's how I'm gonna get my attention. Oh, just perfect grades. I'd come home on time. I'd help Thomas with his homework. I'd put him to bed. I'd help cook. I'd help clean. Anything I could think of at that young age to do that like I should do or that would help somebody else, I just did it. And she'd always say like, I don't have to worry about you. You're doing great. I don't have to worry about you. And really, that's her like as an adult in her mind going like, thank you. I don't have to. But as a kid, I'm like. And then I met my ex-boyfriend, and he was the first one to compliment me, and he's like, she looks like Barbie. And I'm like, oh my God, someone thinks I'm pretty. I mean,
you didn't think you were pretty?
No. I had shit thrown on me on the bus. I had food thrown at me at lunch. People would walk up to me and be like, you're fucking ugly. So I finally hear him, and it's somebody else, and it's a guy. And, with all wanting to be normal and everything, I'm like, perfect. Great, let's do it. Welcome to dating your dad. Like they were saying, you go after the person. He was an alcoholic. He was abusive. He was everything that my father was. And then I really went downhill from there. Like, I started sneaking out every night, stealing shit. I was doing blow up the fucking, he was a drug dealer. My mom gave me an ultimatum on my 18th birthday. She's like, you can either go to rehab or you can walk out in the snow right now. So like, I'm on this puddle jumper and I finally like get out in Montana and there's like fucking 3 feet of snow and I'm still reeling off of everything. I'm like, where the fuck am I? That's how I found out I was gay though. I met my ex-fiance in rehab. Shoes? Pedicure for you. And then I was like praying, I'm like in my head, I would go to bed at night and I'm like, please don't be gay, please don't be gay. You know, wow. Really, because I still had the stigma attached to it. I just still was like, I want to be normal. And like my head was still fucked from like dating this guy that was bad for me. And I had finally someone come up to me before senior year and be like, you're so hot, da 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 da, you look like your life's perfect. And I just remember going to the bathroom and fucking crying because I'm like, why can no one see how sick I am? I'm literally killing myself. And this is
bulimia still?
Yeah, I'm literally killing myself, throwing up blood, and now you think I look good? There was points where I was throwing up like 13 times a day. I'd like plan my whole day around like what I could eat and what was easy to throw up. And then like when I was too sick from the bulimia, my like break was anorexia. Finally, you know, I get to rehab and there'd been enough time where I was kind of coming out of this haze, I guess I'd call it, that I was in, just, you know, the sicknesses and everything. They actually caught my disease and they were the first ones to ever confront me on it. And my mom never did, you know. Eating disorders. Yeah, my mom never did. She'd always be like, are you eating enough?
What would you say was, in all of this, was the saddest moment?
When I was in rehab and they have these seminars and their parents come. They're called PCs, parent-child. And my mom sat in front of me and it's like good sad, but she finally acknowledged how sick I was. And she just like laid her head in my lap. And she's like, I don't want to lose you. And she's like, and I didn't know how to reach you anymore because you were so gone. It was like the first time she finally saw me because that's all I wanted. It took me almost killing myself for her to see me, and it's like, and it scares me because I'm like, what if I had died? There were so many points, literally so many points where I could have died just from the people I was around and the shit I was putting in my body. And she finally told me, she like looked at me and she's like, I know I don't say I love you enough, and I'm sorry. And I know I don't hug you enough, and I'm sorry. Like, it was so hard for me to give people hugs or let people hug me because I'd never been touched. I try not to blame her now, I really do. Because I get it as an adult that she was gone to get an education. It's like the kid in me is like, where was anyone that protected me? You know, from like my dad to Chris. Everyone was literally hurting me. And it's like, where's the person that looks after me? Because I look after everybody. So. I like looking pretty androgynous. Like when I go to castings, it drives me crazy because you have to wear like black little dresses that are super tight. I mean, and then let's face it, I'm 25 and these girls are all 15. And I know I look good, but like when you're next to like girls that are like literally a decade younger than you, you're like, and then that's where like being strong about the eating disorder and my like, you know, and really wanting to be healthy really comes back into play now that I've been modeling. You wake up every morning, you work out, you eat right, and you don't shove a bunch of drugs up your nose. You know, and you don't throw up or you don't not eat.
If you had to sum up like your biggest struggle and how you've turned it into a strength, what would you say that is? Well,
I think the biggest struggle was definitely and always has been my self-image. But if you actually talk well to yourself every day and actually give yourself, I call it the hamster wheel, give yourself positive messages every single day. Like, I'm gonna be strong, I'm not gonna cheat, I'm gonna, eat the right things, I look good, all these things, it starts showing outwardly. I'm not gonna go back to being anyone's doormat, and I'm not gonna go back to being sick. And I'm gonna do whatever it takes to be the person I really wanna be. Because I don't wanna wake up one day and be 50 and 60 and 70 and 80 and go, where did my life go? Why did I never try to be happy? I'm making sure that all the parts of my life are things that make me happy. And if they don't make me happy, they're not there anymore. Pants. Okay, let's see if we can figure these out.
Last question. Why in your body is it a good place to be?
I'm kind of like a live life as it is right now. I mean, I know everyone hates this saying, but I got it actually right when I got out of rehab. It says everything happens for a reason. And a lot of what I've gone through is a reason I can even talk to you now, really. Thank you, Skin, because I've gone through so many different... Thank you. Thank you for snapping back. Like, really. Good genetics saved me on that one, because the shit I've done to my body, I should not look like this. My skin, nothing should look like this. My hair grew back, everything came back. I mean, I'm really lucky. Yeah, thank you, body. And a lot of vitamins. Thank you.
That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
Good. Slightly naked, but good.
A little naked.
Just a little bit.
Almost.
Almost.
That was awesome. Thank you so much.